This is supposed to be an evolution of the E-Type.
E-Type, yes.
Hi, I'm Apa Ong Pin, Editor-in-Chief of Asian Dragon magazine.
And hi, I'm Chris Ward, President and General Manager for Jaguar Land Rover in the Philippines. And today we've come out on some beautiful roads to come and drive the superb Jaguar F-Type. Because you know what we were saying about E-Type, and you look at the rear of the car, you can absolutely see that character and the way in which we've done the light. So we still open the bonnet in the same way, but very compact. The interesting one I love, these airbag signs, which actually is to do with passive pedestrian safety.
Oh really?
Because it's a very low slung car. Worst case scenario, somebody runs out in front of you and you hit them. They're going to come onto the bonnet. When you look at the bonnet, right where the cover is. So there's nothing. So you hit the bonnet, you're effectively hitting the engine. So what we do is, if it detects a pedestrian impact, deploys these two airbags, which effectively pops the bonnet up, creates about this much space. So suddenly we've created like a crumple zone for the pedestrian to try and reduce the, the impact damage that they might have.
That's interesting.
We changed the lights when we did the mid-cycle update. We've still got very much the J blade, which is quite a Jaguar thing.
Yeah.
But now when you start to look at some of the details, the way this design of this kind of honeycomb grille is actually the design of the original Jaguar logo. That's the outside.
Oh, you're right, yes.
Yeah?
You're right. That's very subtle.
Lots of little subtle cues that
That's so cool.
this bit of heritage.
Yeah. So it's so low.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? But it actually doesn't kind of feel it, does it, when you're inside?
No, when you're inside, the visibility is fantastic.
It's truly what we, one of their design concepts is a usable sports car.
You know, I could imagine this as a kind of a commuter, you know. It could have a little more boot space.
Yeah, well, it's because we've specified for this market the spare wheel.
Oh, okay.
If you don't have that, you get
Then you get a lot more
the gunge and the compressor.
I like how that
Just nicely takes over and grabs. And then for this model, we just get the single exhaust, but on the 3 litre and 5 litre, which has the slightly more tuned sports, two big bellowy exhausts. Such a gorgeous car.
It is. Very balanced also.
Absolutely.
Let's take a ride.
Great. So what I've done is I've put her in sport, dialed in dynamic. So what I've dialed in now is a different shift pattern, although I'm going to use the paddle shift.
Right.
So I'm going to control the gears rather than the car, because for this kind of...
Will it actually upshift if you exceed the...
No, it'll hit the rev limiter.
Okay.
The principle of the torque vectoring is really all about aiding the car around the corner, because you've already felt that it's nice and flat when it goes around a corner. But the interesting thing is when you start to dial in a bit of extra G, and perhaps you've got a road surface that isn't completely solid, and you start to get a little bit of understeer or something, the car will detect it. And that's when it's going to say, right, okay, I'm going to pull the car into the corner by braking that inside rear wheel. But I'm going to maintain the power on the outside wheel. So the outside wheel will push the car around, and the inside wheel, by creating almost like a little bit of drag, pulls the car into the corner. So the consequence is it goes around flatter and quicker.
this car really engages because it's amazing what you can do with it.
I think it's a great fun car. It's a great car on a day out. And I think it's a great halo car for the brand because it says so much about how flexible Jaguars are. You know, our tagline is the art of performance. And I think this emulates it very well because performance isn't just about outright speed. I always think it's how well it performs in carrying out all of its duties. And you know, this has got a duty to be just as good and easy to drive for somebody in a situation like this. But then when the road opens, you can very quickly change the character of it and let it off the leash.